Everything of power comes in the form of a circular motion. The motion can never be straight. Even though something's circular, if you push it forward, it may look like it's going through a straight line or it's going on a straight line. But the journey is actually circular because it's moving in a circular motion. All cellular structures in the body move at a circular motion, all healthy. This is why when cells become spiked, right, or they become gravel-like, they either become cancerous or they become what we call sickle. And this is where the term sickle cell comes from. This is because the motion of the cells, again, we go back to the frisbee. If you throw the frisbee and it starts to wobble, the motion becomes tampered with, meaning that the binary motion, because it's creating a code as a flow. Everything that moves has a code behind it. Everything that you see has a number behind it. The way that something communicates, to whether you see it communicating or not, or whether you hear it communicating, if it is communicating to the point where it is manifesting, this communication is operating under a circular motion. Frequencies operate under circular motions. Your thoughts. This is why when you slow your thoughts down and your thoughts connect to the inner self or the inner being of what you are to bring peace, that peace operates on a circular motion. A car cannot move going straight without a circulation occurring inside of it, which we call the transmission in the engine. This is how friction is created, circular. Even when you do this, right, it appears to be like you're moving back and forth with your hands. But inside of, or in the middle, in between these hands, right, there is a circulation going on that you can't see, which is causing friction, allowing heat, which is electricity, to speed up, right? And it's manifesting into something that if it overly circulate, that now this is what we call fire. Fire is a light that has consciousness to it. Your soul is full of fire. But this fire is something that you can't feel. If we were to take away the outsides and the shell of the fire that you see with the physical eyes, there is an ethereal substance inside of this fire that you can't feel. And this is the actual power of the fire. It's not what you feel in the heat coming from the fire. It's the force that's in it that's allowing it to be. Just like your body has a soul in it that's allowing the body to be. Right? But once that soul, which is that ethereal substance, leave the body, right, it moves out of circulation to the point where it don't die. Circulation means that life. Circulation is life. It doesn't mean, see, a person when they flatline, right, from doing this is a circular motion. But you're looking at it from a 3D perspective, so you can't really see the circulation occurring. But this is circular. But when a flat line occurs, that's death. It's dead. Because this goes against the laws of nature. Right? So, when we study the patterns of life, even the flower of life, the flower of life is always circular. It's a circle which has a circle intertwining on another side, a circle intertwining on one side, another circle, and it creates this flower of life because motion and circulation is life. And no matter what dimension you turn this circulation, right, it's always going to be life. It's just going to have another dimensional outlook. And depending on what dimension you are in, you will see it differently. When circulation penetrates a physical object, circulation of energy or electricity penetrates an object, it busts down or breaks down that object. This is where sound healing comes from. This is how our ancestors were able to say, you know what? If we can bust down cancer, which is something that moves straight, right? It spikes, so it moves straight. This means that we can use circulation to bust down something that is not natural. It is outside of the laws of nature. And nothing can go against the laws. It always wins. No matter what you do, it always wins. Peace is circulation. So when somebody responding negatively, as long as you are utilizing that peace, you're going to always win. Because you'll be able to see through the circulation of your common sense things that the people who are moving negatively, when you all see your foods, your fruits, your vegetables, things of that nature, all of the nutrients and minerals are circular. All the circulation that's going on in your fruits and your vegetables, once the heat touch it, what happened is the enzymes stand out straight. Again, that flat line means dead. This is why it's better to eat raw fruits and vegetables. Because once the heat touches it, it reconstructs the chemistry of the fruit and vegetable or the food that you are ingesting. So, if all minerals and nutrients that is conducive to your biochemical structure move at a circulation or a circular motion, right? This is the reason why when all you eat is this stuff raw, without eating meat, without eating dairy and all this other stuff, this is why it raises the pH, which suppresses cancer in the body. Because you are creating a cyclone in the body, a circulation of cyclones, which is busting down toxins from being able to create bacteria and infections and viral substances and living envelopes of pathogens and proteins. Because what happens is when you are ingesting certain proteins such as VP1 proteins, these proteins, what they do is they latch on to your genetic material. And depending on the binary code inside of this protein, what happens is these messages then start to reconstruct your genetic material and altering your DNA. And you all may not think that is important at the moment, but 50 years from now, if your children keep reproducing, right, what happens is that genetic material that came from you is the power that brings you back through that bloodline. So what is tampered with, what happens is it can stagnate you from being able to come back at the time you're supposed to come back, or from crossing over into a higher dimensional realm at the time you're supposed to as well. DNA is spiritual. And foods are being used to close the portals inside of our genetic material. This stuff that we call junk DNA is not junk. These people in the higher upper echelon know the energies that is vibrating. They know the language of this energy inside of this so-called junk DNA. Because they know the language of circulation. We don't. When I say the language of circulation, they know the language of nature. At one time, we knew it. The language didn't consist of you moving your tongue or moving your mouth. This language came with feeling and being able to see through feeling. Just wanted to share that with you all before I got into my craft, my spiritual craft, because I'm about to head out to Georgia tonight for a very special occasion. I was talking to one of my secretaries there, one of them that's there. Me and him was kind of building on certain energies and, the things that's surrounding the life that I'm building amongst myself through the people. I came, like I told him this morning now, I went outside this morning and the usual time I go out to work out, and you have an SUV cop car sitting in front of my house flashing that bright light up on my porch as if he knew what time I was coming out the door. And so I go and get into my car, and he goes and up to the first corner, make a left, and then he turns around facing back out to the street that he made a left on. And as I'm passing it, the light is, is shining on me, and I see him slowly come out to follow me. He followed me about 1.5 miles to Old Forest Road. And once I got to that light, he made a right, I made a left, and I continued on to the gym. But it was other stuff surrounding me, so I'm not worried. Just like the other day, my twin was here, and he was like, "What's your Wi-Fi?" And I was like, "Osei." And he was like, "You see this? They got a FBI secure Wi-Fi thing right here on the Wi-Fi settings." And me knowing myself, like, you can't do nothing to me that the universe and the ancestors don't want you to do. So it is what it is. I'm going to keep pushing. And I want you all to take everything that I'm giving y'all, along with the other people who are giving information that is very valuable. Because it's not just me out here giving this stuff. I mean, not as freely as I am, but it's people that's giving out stuff, and take all that you can. Don't think that life is just a party. Life is a school, it's a university. We come to learn, we feed our soul, because our soul has a destiny beyond this life. This is just one of the classrooms, that we have to move out of. When I say one of the classrooms, I'm talking about one of the dimensions. Every dimension has 7 cycles that we go through, that we have to move upon. And schools were built based on life itself. From one classroom, you reincarnate into the next one. But if you fail the test of one grade, then you have to go back through a time loop and reincarnate back into that same grade. And once you left that elementary school, you went to another dimension that we call middle school, and so on and so forth. You go and you get your degrees. Now, this is where the Freemasons come in. You go in and you get your degrees. But the degrees they're giving you at the schools that you see with your physical eyes, degrees that suppresses Solomon's temple. When I say Solomon's temple, we're not talking about Solomon as a singular person. Solomon didn't represent a person. It represented a temple, an intelligent body that connected with the God that was in it. And this is what the concept of God being inside of the temple, or Christ being inside of the temple in the body, this is metaphysics. You have to take care of your temple, eat right, because that has a lot to do with your evolutionary process, not physically, but soul-wise. Your next life. You write your next life by what you do in this life. You are your author.